Yeah. So it's actually connector words. So what's an example of a conjunction in English?
Like to, in, those words?
Those are prepositions.
And?
And
But, a, the.
Exactly. So the very first
I lost the
impressionistic
product.
lesson that we give on conjunctions, who could be my student? Would anyone volunteer to have to come sit on the floor with me? No one?
I'm happy to if you want
Okay.
to, but it's more fun for
I'll go back later.
So I'm going to actually ask you to sit on this side of the table. Okay. I have, what is this?
a flower, carnation.
Yes, this is a white flower. Okay. White. What does that word say?
Flower.
A white flower. I also have a pink flower. I have a pink flower. Now tell me, what do I have again?
A white flower and a pink flower.
Now what if I would take my two flowers, put them together? I'm going to join my two flowers together. And when I join them together, I now have a white flower and a pink flower. The word and is a conjunction. Can you say conjunction?
Conjunction.
Conjunction. A conjunction comes from the Latin con, which means together, and jungere, which means to
Unite.
unite. Did we unite the two flowers with our bow?
Yeah.
And did we unite our two nouns with the word and?
We did.
We did. So that would be the first introduction lesson to what a conjunction is. And what's beautiful, I think, about always having the English as the initial anchor lesson is that that's your native language. So then I can very easily move this lesson in the next sitting into Hebrew. So if I were to do that, I could say, do you remember yesterday how we put two flowers together with, what kind of word was that?
Conjunction.
A conjunction. Now today, we're going to actually make the same type of connection. So, we have, do you remember what the word, does anyone know what the word flower is in Hebrew?
Perach.
Perach. So we have, what kind of perach do we have?
Lavan.
That's right, we have a perach lavan. And do you remember why we don't have another card in front of that for the article? So then children will discuss with me why. And we also have a pink flower, which, what is that in Hebrew? Do you know?
Perach varod.
That's right. We have a perach varod. Now, if we want to connect our perach varod with our perach lavan, we are going to use a conjunction. But in Hebrew, the conjunction and is actually a prefix. So we have perach varod uferach lavan. And when I put those together, I will tie my bow, and then I'll have you tie my bow for me. So I just took the anchor lesson in English, went over to the anchor lesson in Hebrew, and now I'm immediately in the next lesson going to give you an opportunity to find this in a current thing that we're learning in Chumash. So this is my example of what we will be learning outside of Dikduk in Chumash. This is from this week's parasha. It happens to be there is a pasuk in this week's parasha that has tons and tons of them. So I think looking for a specific one would have lots and lots of them. And in another lesson, we would be doing practice work on sequencing the pasuk, which I'm not going to do with you now, because we have a table card where you have to first learn to sequence it with only the Hebrew, then sequence it from taking English and seeing if you can remember the Hebrew, practicing the milim, doing diagrams of the pasuk, some various other work. But then when it's time to do the grammar practice, I would have you remember we were just learning about a conjunction in Ivrit. Do you remember what the conjunction and is in Ivrit? That's right. It's the vav at the beginning of a word, a vav prefix. We're going to take the little conjunction symbol and put it over every vav that we can find in this pasuk. Okay. So let's start at the very top. Read with me. V'Yakov nasan. So, do you see any vavs that are prefixes in that first phrase?
Yes.
Okay, so where are you going to put your conjunction symbol?
I put it on top.
On top, right there. Le-Esav. Do you see any vavs?
Well, I do, but it's part of.
That's right, it's not the prefix, conjunction, that's right. Lechem.
Lindsay.
Aha, do you see one?
I do.
Okay, and that would be an example because it's bread and what? Lentil stew.
And lentils.
That's right.
Well, this is the lentil.
Right. Vayochal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at this point I'm not talking about the vav reversive, and we'll get
Right.
there in another lesson. I know you have an excellent work in your school for that. Vayesh, and he drank,
Yes.
right? Vayakam, and he got up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Vayelech, and he went. Vayvez, yes.
Oh, there they are.
As habachora. Okay, so how many conjunctions did we have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
7 conjunctions in this lesson. So then she would actually mark this up on a paper also that is like the text of the workbook that she's working on. So as you can see, we started from a very simple concept, what is a conjunction? Then we went to moving it into the Hebrew world, then going over to Chumash, and now we start using it in literature also. We'll start finding sentences in the book that we're reading for literature circle, other things. We'll diagram sentences, we'll do all kinds of different things that have to do with conjunctions. Okay? That's it.
Yay.